Well, hello, friends. Real quick before we kick off the episode, I have to let you know about something exciting. I am seriously considering having an upgraded version of this podcast where you get bonus episodes and exclusive content. But here's the deal, I'm trying to decide what that content and those episodes should be. I do have some ideas, and I was wondering if you could vote really quick and tell me what you think about what would entice you, what would be interesting to you to get as bonus episodes on this podcast. For example, deeper dives into topics. Maybe I'm answering questions that many of you ask about starting or growing a business. Maybe even overhearing coaching calls, something like this. It would be a paid, upgraded version of this podcast, not very expensive at all, probably just a handful of dollars a month, but it be extra content for you to help you along your journey. My whole goal is to help you build your business dream. And I would love to offer you even more because some of you are asking for it. So if you could just look down in the show notes right now, there's two ways you can give me your answers. Number one, I have a Google form with 5 quick questions. It can be anonymous. You just answer them and vote on what would be interesting to you. Or number two, I have a voice memo system. You can just click it and you could just leave a voice memo with your phone right now and just record it and tell me what kind of topics, what things would be interesting to you behind the scenes, market news. What would be things that would be extra that would be really valuable to you? So thank you all so much. Okay, on to the episode. Well, hello, I'm Kimberly Brock, and for the last 20 years, I've been running my own businesses that have not only been profitable, but personally fulfilling to me. And so now I'm on a mission to help other women just like you do the exact same thing. Now we're going to have some fun, so let's get started. Hi, everyone. I am so excited you're here today. I have a very special guest on. Her name is Nicole. And yes, she's my younger sister. And she's got some great information and insights for you today to think about how you view your business and what your business can mean to you. And I want to say she started her jewelry business on her own. I think she said it was 8 or 9 years ago. And it has been something very, very special to her. And it has obviously brought an income for her family. It has been creatively fulfilling for her, and it's been an outlet for her to get to share her love for design and of jewelry and present it to the world. And she creates the most beautiful and stunning pieces of jewelry. They're all very personalized, and I've got many of her pieces, and I absolutely adore and cherish them. So you'll have to take a look at naomigraydesigns.com and check them out. But fun fact, she is an actress as well. So I've been able to live vicariously through her. She's been, that more daring, exciting younger sister and has done so much. And I'm just so in awe of her strength and tenacity and perseverance to pursue acting. She pursued it right at the end of college, as you'll hear. She made it happen. She made all of this happen. And you have to realize if she can do it, we can all do it, right? We can all do anything we put our mind to. So she made it happen. She's got so much drive. She's so talented. And I'm just so honored to have her on the show and excited you get to hear her wisdom about business and what hers has meant to her. So I hope you enjoy it. And as a side note, really quick, you've probably noticed I don't have ads on my episodes yet. So I want to take this minute just to sponsor myself really quick. I do have a private Facebook group. It's a way that I can interact with you because this podcast here is a one-way conversation. It's just me talking to you. And I love to get feedback and be involved with everything that's going on, whether you're dreaming of starting a business or you already have your business. Please join my private Facebook group. If you go to Facebook right now, search Start with Kimberly Brock, it'll pull up my page and you can apply for the private group. Come in. There's other women like you that are either dreaming or starting or in the middle of their business, and we all need help. We all need community. We all need advice. So I hope you'll be a part of it. Now, back to this episode. I hope you enjoy it, and I'm so excited for you to get to meet Nicole. Well, hey, Nicole, I'm so excited you're here today. Well, for 2 reasons. One, because you're my sister, so of course I had to have you on. But number 2, because I think my listeners can learn so much from you about how you have had your career and business built around different seasons of your life. So I'm just so happy you're here.
Oh, I'm so excited to be here. And I love that you're doing this. I think it's so helpful. And I wish I would have had this to listen to whenever I first started my business
Oh, thank
back
you
in the
so
day.
much. Well, I hope it is a good resource for all my listeners out there who want to start a business or who are in the early stages of business. This kind of thing, these kind of conversations can be so helpful and useful and make you realize you're not alone in your
Yes.
journey.
I
So,
think having a community is invaluable and having other people to sort of bounce ideas off of and listen to how they got started and their journey
yeah,
is so, so helpful
so
because
true.
it
So
can
true.
feel very solitary sometimes when
I
you're,
know. Isn't it true? When you're behind a computer or trying to even think of your business or you're just starting it, it can feel super lonely.
yes.
Yeah. Wow.
So,
Well, why don't you tell my listeners about, and I'm sure they're going to be totally interested to hear about your acting career as well, but just briefly about that and then what led you to starting your awesome jewelry business called Naomi Gray Designs and just kind of take us through that so that they can just, glean some good insights into what it takes and how you did it.
yeah, so I'll kind of quickly go through the acting part, but I went to college for business, for marketing, and my senior year in college, I realized I wanted to be an actress. So I basically talked my parents into paying for 6 months of my journey in LA if I finished my classes in LA. So basically, I moved to LA when I still had a semester left. I started taking acting classes, but I finished up my marketing classes and I flew back to graduate
Okay,
from
wait.
college.
Well, I didn't know about this. What are
Yes.
you left? So you were at Southwest Texas, which is now Texas State, and you left
Yes, my
last
senior year
semester.
for spring break, we went and visited a friend who was an actor, a fellow actor named Jensen Ackles. He was on, what was that soap called? Now I'm blanking. Days of Our Lives. He was
Yes.
on that soap. But I got off the plane. I just had this epiphany, this is what I want to be doing, but I hadn't really been doing it. I had been in school for marketing just because I felt like getting a business degree was basically getting a high school diploma. It was just something I needed to have. But then I was like, how am I going to do this? But I still had some classes left. So I
Okay.
just had mom and dad help me because I had to figure out how to do all of it, get
My
headshots.
gosh.
You have to be really resourceful. That in and of itself is sort of your own business. You have to market
Yes.
yourself. You have to get an agent. You have to take some acting classes. You have to be studying.
That's
You have
so
to know what you're
brave.
doing. So I did that and it ended up being the right choice because I got my first show, I guess, a year and a half into moving there, which is pretty quick I know people, it
Wow.
took 10 years to get a break. They've been pounding the pavement. So I got lucky. I did that. I moved to Vancouver for that show. And then I just kept acting for I'm
And
still sort of doing it, but
would you say that's like your true passion for a
yes,
career?
that was 100% where I just loved it. I felt like the auditioning was more the job that I would actually do the acting when I actually got a job for free because it was so much fun. It's just amazing. It's such a collaborative experience. And I just really, really love it. But at some point, you can easily get heartbroken by it because there's a ton of rejection. So you're
Ugh.
really getting way more no's than yeses. You're
Right.
getting no's constantly. And every now and then you get a yes. And that was when I was doing really well. And then there was a phase where I was getting into my 30s and I always had played younger and I just wasn't really aging up appropriately. People weren't buying me as a lawyer or as a mom. I started just kind of coming into some resistance in aging where it had been really easy for me to get jobs when I was younger because I looked so young. So it was
Right.
easy at 22, 23 years old to get a job playing younger. It started to become harder for me as I got older a little bit. And so during that phase, I realized I needed something else that was creative, but that I also had more control over. So that's when I decided to launch Naomi Gray.
And how
And
did you come up with the name? Tell everyone. I just thought
I
that was
wanted a
cute.
beautiful name, and I didn't really want my name Nicole Paggy because I had been acting, and I just wanted it to be something totally separate.
Okay.
And so I just kept brainstorming beautiful names, but I wanted something that meant something to me. And our grandmother's name was Naomi Gray. So I love that it
Yes.
was a family name. The jewelry represents mostly family. It's mostly custom jewelry. So it either represents you or the people you love. It's a very familial brand, I feel
Yes.
based on family and all of that. So I thought that name was beautiful and named it Naomi Gray. And so I started, well, I actually used your business license. You gave me your business
Oh,
license, like
that's awesome.
resale
Thank you for
certificate
sharing that.
number. Yes. And I started going downtown New York City into the jewelry district and sort of exploring on my days off
Okay.
and getting stones and wire wrapping necklaces. And that's why when I wanted another business that I had more control over, I just kept going to jewelry. And I love the fact that it was symbolic. I would make things that like birthstones, things that were symbolic of people's lives. And I started making jewelry, launched the business. And originally I had launched in a storefront in the store called Fred Siegel in Los Angeles. I launched there.
And what do you mean you launched there? Like that was the first time you presented your product to the public, or what does that mean?
Yes. So I did a website, which you helped me do. You
Yes,
were
I do remember
immensely
that.
helpful every day. It was tech support. And this is what I was going to say to listeners too. Like it can be so overwhelming trying to think about how to start a business, but you just start small and you start with people. You either have a sister or a friend that has the knowledge that you have, or you hire someone like you to sort of help walk you through that steps, because it can be so overwhelming. And basically, you have to get a business license.
Yes.
You have to take all those steps in the beginning,
Yes.
get your resale license. It's a lot of that. And then getting a website up. And so you were super helpful in that and getting my website up. And then I had to figure out, well, how am I going to get anybody to this website? So you have to go through friends. And I had a friend that had a beauty line that helped me get into this store that called Fred Siegel, which is a great store in Los Angeles that draws a lot of attention. So launching there, get your name out a little bit. But they wanted and I was going to just talk about this because this is how I pivoted later, which I think is interesting. Like your business is never really you don't really know what it's going to be before you start. And then it sort of evolves into what it's going to be.
Totally. I have talked about this several times already, that you may start it with a certain passion in mind, but it can change and you have to mold to what the customers want, but you also change too for the things that you love and what you're doing. So it does evolve.
It's like a child. It's like having a child. It sort of evolves and grows and changes and you realize what it should be. But so they wanted a certain price point. So that I had to do gold plated because they wanted under $150 a piece. And even though I didn't really want to do gold plated, I really wanted to do real gold because for me, that's timeless. I wanted something I can wear 24/7. I don't want to take it off. It represents my family. It's like second skin, but they wanted to do gold plated. So I started with that. And then I realized like things would fade. The quality wasn't there. You can't wear that forever. So it's cute, costume jewelry, and then I also had to have a lot of inventory because they wanted different pieces of this and that. And because all my stuff was custom, I had to stock so many different things. And it was really hard to manage that inventory because it would be like the letter N. Well, how many letter N's do I need to get? But I need it ready. So it was just this whole thing. So my business sort of evolved into only online because I kind of realized doing the retail thing, the wholesale thing wasn't my jam. So I started doing direct to consumer, online, custom made to order. So I wasn't inventorying pieces. And I knew that customers are willing to pay more for something that they know they're going to have forever. That's really, really special. So that's kind of where I am now. I'm doing made to order, higher end, things that last forever, things that you wear 24/7 that represent the most special things in your life.
So I like that where you talk about how it evolved and how you really honed in on your niche. And when you very first started at the very beginning, did you have that higher end product in mind, and then you got kind of pulled astray by when you went into retail, or did you want to start with more, smaller, lower end pieces? Like, how did it start for you in the very beginning?
Well, that's what I was going to say. I'm trying to think if I sort of knew that and went back to that, or it just eventually evolved into that. I think that over time it honed. I think in the beginning, I just wasn't used to spending a lot of money on jewelry. B, that was going to be more expensive to inventory. I think in terms of wholesaling it to them, I sort of had to do lower end anyway, even if they didn't tell me, because I didn't have a lot of money when I started my business. I didn't get loans from anybody. No one gave me money. I started with my own business. So I guess one of my biggest takeaways and advice to somebody else would be just get started. Just start taking the first step and don't get bogged down with where it's going to be in 5 years. Like let it kind of play out and just take the first steps that you can feasibly do. And then with the money that I was making, I could slowly make these nicer pieces. So I think
Yes.
instead of getting so, even if I wanted to do higher end, I may have gotten overwhelmed with that, thinking about, okay, but that cost me so much to get that piece made because it's real gold and it's this custom nature that maybe would have gotten too overwhelmed doing that at the beginning. I think it took exactly what like twists and turns it needed to take to get to where it is.
Yes.
And
Yes.
this is what works for me now. I don't want a bunch of inventory. I have children. I don't have time to be at shows all the time selling mass. I like that it's boutique-y. I like that it's smaller and it's manageable for me doing it by myself.
Yes. And I think that is so key. I hope everyone heard that because basically what Nicole is saying is she built this business to be on her terms for this season of life, for what she wants it to be. She doesn't need to be in every retail store and have all this inventory and be bogged down, like she said, with all of those sunk costs. She gets to have the freedom now to make these super special and meaningful pieces as they are ordered. So do you actually like have jewelers that you use that are wholesale that put the pieces together?
I
Like
have a
how does that work?
manufacturer. So I design it. I send all my designs to my manufacturer who is in a factory in downtown LA making it. A lot of the hardest part of my business was finding dependable manufacturers. A lot of manufacturers, they want to do mass. They don't want to do one-off pieces. So it's because it just starts getting confusing. It's like, okay, this, a 16-inch chain, rose gold with this letter on this piece. And then the next order is, okay, an 18-inch white gold,
Right.
but they don't want, it's my stuff is so custom that there's not many people that can do it. They get overwhelmed. They're not very organized at all on their end. So they're not used to having to like sit here and like fine tune, look at a sheet. They're used to just like, okay, we want
Right.
300 of this one charm. So
Right.
that I would say has been my biggest challenge. But yes, I have my manufacturers in downtown LA and I send them my orders. I send them my designs. They make it and then they send it to me. They
So
physically make
when
it.
they make it, what do you mean by that? Is that like a mold of like
Well,
something
I
that you
work
come
in
up with?
CAD. So I do have some molds for pieces that I order more of, like certain rings and stuff like that. But for the custom pieces, we print it every time from CAD. So basically, there's a CAD file that gets printed out into a wax, and
Oh,
then
this is
that
so
gets casted
interesting.
into gold.
I had no idea. So it's kind of
Yeah.
a whole process here, and you have to find manufacturers that will actually do this for you and
Yes,
do
and that
custom
was really
pieces.
hard. That was like really pounding the pavement for years in LA. Like I've been through so many different manufacturers. My advice to you would just be talk to other designers, talk to other people, talk to other people in your business. If you don't know any of your business, then a lot of it is trial and error. That's normal. And now I've found a pretty good person, but there's a lot. Manufacturing is notoriously hard and difficult, and
Yes.
there's a lot of mistakes being made. So I think that's the thing with my custom jewelry is that finding somebody that could handle that and that doing one-off pieces,
Yes.
because that's not really common.
Yes, that's so true. Well, I have another question too. You said it was super hard finding manufacturers. What else for you has been difficult that you've had to let go of and maybe hire help for or seek help for? Like what have you had to do in your business that was hard that you had to get help for and
Well,
how did you
I
go
would
about that?
say the tech stuff. So, like with the website stuff, luckily I had you to help walk me through all of that. I was really, really lucky to have that. A lot of people just hire someone, and I did hire someone to do my website. But even in terms of me being able to handle the back end, which I
Right.
really wanted to be able to know how to do myself, I don't want someone else
Right.
having to process my orders. So,
Right.
putting all those
Right.
products and doing all that stuff, you really helped me with that. That's hard. Any kind of graphic design, I've tried to sit and learn it, but I'm like, my time is not best trying to
Right.
go back and learn this
Right.
other skill. I'd
Right.
rather spend $150, $200 for someone to help me get like a really pretty email blast out than me sitting here doing one that doesn't
I
really look
know.
on brand and
Right.
spending hours and hours trying to figure that out. I'm not very tech savvy. And now I would say my biggest challenge would be all this Instagram, Facebook, all this marketing
Yes.
and the amount of money you have to spend to do that. So I'm trying to get creative right now and figuring out how I can do sort of my own grassroots marketing that I'm not having to spend all those dollars on.
Yes.
So one thing you and I had talked about was that customer engagement, getting my
Yes.
customers to share their stories, going through my friends first who have my jewelry and having them share their stories and trying to somehow figure out how to do my own Instagram marketing.
Yes, I would always recommend that first. So if you're trying to get people to tell you about how much these, pieces mean to them, because we know that people love them. You have so many repeat customers, right? They keep coming back for these really special pieces. So the best way I would say is to get them to give you their testimonial or just tell you why they love it so much. So you can share that with other customers, because I'm sure that makes you feel so good. This is why you do it, right? I
Yes,
mean,
that's my favorite part of it for sure. It's given me a creative outlet, and I think you can do it on your terms. I think that you could start with an Etsy store if you don't want to build a website right away.
yes.
Start with doing shows through people you know, and then it kind of gives you the
Yes.
confidence to be like, I'm making a product that people are paying me for. Like people are responding to this, people like
Right.
this,
Right.
and then you can kind of evolve it into whatever you want it to be. If you just need $500 extra a month, like just go sell a few
I
things
love
and
that.
make $500. If you want this to be your full-time job, and you can evolve into that too. But I think it's this idea that everything has to be this absolute extreme is where people get stuck. It's just like, take the next little step, see if you have a viable product, get your stuff out there somehow. I was thinking about this other girl who, she's this amazing jewelry designer. I've heard her speak. She just does gangbusters. She sells so much jewelry and it's so beautiful and awesome. She spends, I mean, this is for sure her full-time job. She's got employees. She was saying how she spends 10 grand a month just on like Instagram
Oh
ads.
my gosh. Yeah.
So that's
People
the level
do.
of her business. But I'm like, okay,
Right.
so after you spend all that, you're making way more money, but then you're spending a lot more money. You've also got
Yes.
other people to pay. It's also
Yes.
going to take a lot more time and energy. At the end of the
Yes.
day, how much money are you actually taking home? And is that worth all this other stuff? Like, I think that's what we have to sort of
Yep.
weigh. It's like
Yes. It's so
really
hard.
figuring out. And so for me, I've always sort of liked to keep it small and just me, because I didn't want to keep complicating it. I just kind of wanted it simple. Like I get an
I
order,
know. Because
I
you have
ship
to
it.
hit certain revenue milestones to be able to warrant to do these certain things. And if,
Growing it. It's like
and then,
diminishing returns. Are you
yes.
just then adding this whole workload and all these things,
Yes.
but really at the end of the day, you're not making money? I'm sure she is. I'm just using her as an example. Like some people may not be, and then they're spinning their wheels, and you may not want that. You may want to be at home with your kids and just work a few hours a day.
Right.
And if that's what you want, then just do that. Or you may just want to work 3 days a week for, I don't know. I just think like you can have a business and do it how you want to do it.
Yes, and not
That's really
and
the bottom
let
line.
go of all these preconceived notions that it
Expectations.
has to be this. And we're not the inventor of Spanx and going to have a multi-million dollar business, but you can
Or
grow it
maybe
to
it
that. Yeah,
will.
I know
Yeah.
if you grow it to that and put the time, but you may not have the time if you're a mom
And you
or
may not
you have
want
another
to.
job.
Like,
Yeah.
honestly, yeah, you may not want to. You may not need to. You may just want to feel like you have something of your own. So I think it's kind of identifying that too. Like, what is it that I want out of this thing?
When you started your business, how long ago did you start your business? Was it,
Like 8 years
gosh,
ago, maybe?
it was only 8 years ago. I was thinking it
Or
was
was it
longer than
10
that.
years
No,
ago?
I just feel like the Instagram and Facebook and all that was just getting rolling, and it was so focused on like your email list. And yes, you wanted fans, but this whole era of how it is now, and like you said, so many businesses spend 10 grand a month. That's like a magic number. I don't
Whoa.
know who is saying
Well,
that, but
and
that's,
I'm like, yeah, it just becomes this rat race for that. And there's just these
I
huge companies that
know.
have so much money they can do that. So then you just sort of feel like, I'm never going to be able to do that because that's not. But then it's like I said, okay, I'm not going to be able to do that. So I need to own that and do the
Right.
things I can actually do. And
Yes.
I may not be making the money that that girl's doing, but I'm also not putting the time that that girl's putting in. I'm not,
Right.
I don't have 5 employees. I didn't do this 10 years before kids. This was her whole life. She had a career where she had
Right.
all these contacts where she was already in. So, and then, or there's like the daughter of someone famous that has all this money and she starts her business and she is the most successful jewelry brand because
Yes.
she's got all these
She had that
resources from the get-go.
advantage.
It's like I'm never going to compete with that. But you know what? My line has been great for me. It's just been this great
And
thing.
that
So
is amazing. I mean, that's the best part. And what do you think, too, just speaking of the benefits that you've gotten from your business? And this is kind of a deep question, but I just kind of wanted to know your feeling on who you felt like you've become through this whole process, because in ways it had to have changed you from when you started it. Was it that you realized you could do things you didn't think you could do? Like, did you ever think that this could happen? That you could actually have a line of jewelry, maybe when you
yes,
just
I mean,
dreamed of
I
one?
remember when I first started making money, and I think I told you this, where I was like, It's so weird that I can just like make something and then that turns into money coming in.
It's so
Like that
weird.
I'm
I know,
actually
it's a
selling
weird
a
sensation.
product and I'm creating
Yes.
revenue. And so I
Yes.
think it's that feeling where it's really cool. I guess I sort of feel like anything is possible. I mean, not that, oh, I have the biggest short brand in the world, but I'm just saying if you want to do something, go do it. Like I wanted to become an actress. Yes, it's not easy. There's a lot of time and pounding the pavement and trying to do that, but that's a business selling myself. Then doing this thing shows me again, like you want to go do jewelry, do it
Yes.
whatever
Take
capacity you
action.
want. I started with an Etsy store. I'm just saying, like, even if
You
it's just
did?
like a side hobby, do it. Yes, I did an Etsy store, but then I just, because that was more of the it was custom, but it was the plated that I didn't keep pursuing it because then I was more direct to consumer on my website. I
Yeah,
guess
I
I
guess
could
that's
still
true.
sell
You
on Etsy,
could
but I just
still,
sort of,
because yeah, there's definitely high end Etsy people now. But yeah, I mean it's hard, and I Etsy has its own challenges. It's its own beast as far as being a search engine itself, searching for high end jewelry. So if you've already kind of got your knack for how you do it online, then I would say just stick with that with your own website.
yes.
But I do think it's interesting that you started with that, but you realized the lower end wasn't as the
But
way
I
that you
want it. It's
wanted to
just
go.
not what I wanted. And it may be for other people that want to manage a bunch of inventory and do all of that.
Yes.
And they really want to be in stores and that's their thing. For me, that wasn't what
You
I wanted to
envision.
do. So I think
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's like, make it work for you in what you want to do because you're the one that's going to have to be doing this every day. So
Yes.
set the terms and how you want to do it, not by looking at what everyone else is doing. I just refuse to believe you have to do exactly what everyone else is doing. There's not just like one way to do something. So
I
do what you're going
totally
to be able
agree.
to wake up and do every single day.
Yes, and be excited about it. Because if there's parts of your business that are dragging you down, or things that are bothering you about the certain products you sell, stop selling those products. Or if there's certain tasks in your business that you're frustrated with, maybe you need to outsource or
Get help.
learn or get educated or talk to family. I guarantee there's someone around you that knows about it. You can get help for free, but if you need more specialized help, you should hire someone, and it doesn't have to be a super expensive person,
Well,
right? There's ways to
everyone,
do
I
it.
mean, consistently, what I hear is with successful people is I hire people that are smarter than me in those areas.
Yes.
So
Yes.
if you don't feel like you're good at something, get help. It's worth that money. It's going to pay you back in spades because you've
Yes.
not spinning your wheels and getting frustrated, and
Yes.
you just need an expert to help you. So I
Yes.
think like you helping, I wouldn't have gotten through any of that website stuff. I'm not just saying that because you're my sister. Like really, like I
Oh,
just remember
that's
like
so
crying
nice.
at one point and being like, I don't know how to do this. And then like I felt like I was bugging you because you're your own business, but it
No,
just was invaluable support. You need
I
support.
know. There's
You can't go
people
at it
around.
totally at
Yes.
your own, on your own.
No, I've always said that. And you've got to create solid foundations so that your business can grow and function every day the most efficiently as possible. So you aren't pulling your hair out all day long doing all these tasks you don't like. And you get to focus on the fun
Yes.
stuff like you. I mean, your favorite part, I would assume, is the designing part of the jewelry.
Yes.
I mean, the designing part. Yeah, that's what I would
And the
figure.
sales coming in. Just
Yes,
kidding.
I know.
When
Right.
it's like,
When you
ding,
see an
here's
order come in, you're like, yes,
But I
I
get
got an
really
order.
excited when people are like, I love it. It's my favorite piece. I wear it every
Yes.
day. Like that makes me more happy than
Oh
anything.
my
Like that's why
gosh.
I do it.
The pieces
So
that you've made for me, I love them. My beaded bracelets, my one that you gave me last Christmas that I was, oh, actually, was it my birthday or was it Christmas that you gave me the one with the
it may have been
birthstones?
the birthday.
May have been the birthday. Yes. And I'm wearing it in one of the pictures on my website. I love it so much. Does it have a specific name with the circle with the
That's a
birthstone?
circle of love.
Circle of love. That's right. Okay. I can
So it's
remember the
just, I
exact name.
love like subtle little things too that
I
are understated
know.
but still represent that.
I know. I remember someone asked me
So,
about it. I'm like, oh, it's the birthstones of everyone, my husband and my kids. And it's just such a sweet piece. And I love it so much. So see, this is what I'm saying.
mm.
People have these gifts you can give to the world. And think if you had stopped yourself short of starting this business, you would have
Well, that's
not
what I was going to say.
given
I
the
was going to say,
world.
you don't have to have all the answers in the beginning. Just start taking the next little steps. Just start
I
doing, just
agree.
do it. You don't have to have every single answer. I think it's hard for people who are perfectionists because they just want everything done perfectly and
Mm,
they want to do it
mm-hmm.
right and they want to be the best.
Mm-hmm.
And if they're not the best, then they
Mm-hmm.
just won't do it at all. Like
Yeah.
I noticed that in my daughter. She won't play soccer because someone told her she wasn't fast and she knows other people are faster than her. So then she
Oh,
just doesn't do it at all. And it's like, well, if you just got out there and had fun, who knows? You could end up being, I just think you
right.
could just go out there and play on your terms. You don't have to be the one like the making the most goals every day because maybe you don't even care about that. Maybe you just want to get out there and have fun and that's fulfilling. So I
Well,
think
I know, right?
it's just what do you want out of it? And then just go do that.
I love
It's
that
just,
so much.
that's the lessons I think I've
I
learned. Is if
know.
you feel like doing something, just go do it. We have one
Take the
life.
action.
Like, what are we waiting for?
I
You
know
know?
life is too short and you can feel more fulfilled even if it's just a part-time business. You can get
Mm-hmm.
that meaning and fulfillment, use your brain, use your creativity. There's a lot of people that are artsy and creative that stop short because they just don't know how to do the business side of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I just, oh my gosh, thank you so much for all this motivation. I hope this made people think. And all you listeners out there, I know some of you maybe even have your business already and you just haven't been able to move forward with certain aspects of it. And I just challenge you today to just think about what Nicole said, or just taking action. Don't let perfection get in the way of progress and start making moves forward. And this business can be anything you want it to be. It doesn't have to be this grand business that takes you away from your family and all your other activities. It can be a few hours a day. You can set boundaries and it can be exactly what you envision it to be. So thank you,
Amen,
Nicole.
sister.
Yes, woo! We'll give a round of applause for that. Hey, with this podcast, I had to not let perfection get in the way because, hey, I'm a beginner too, starting something new, right? I've had businesses for a long time, but a podcast was a new venture, and I took action and did it. And no, I'm not perfect. I'm not the host I want to be today, but I'm taking action, I'm doing it, and I'm moving forward. So you can too. Anyone listening, you can make it happen. Nicole, thank you so much for being here today. This was so much fun. We'll have to have you back.
Fun. Sisters.
I know. Sisters.
I know.
Sister power.
I'm like, we'll see. We'll see where we are next time we talk.
I know. That's right.
It.
Well, thank you so much. Have a good day, Nicole. Thank you so much for sharing your insights.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that as much as I did and got something out of it. Just a quick note again, you can scroll down to the show notes and you can see the link to Nicole's website and all the information from this episode. So again, scroll down, see in the show notes, or you can always go to KimberlyBrock.com/episode 7. So thank you again. And remember, join my private Facebook group if you haven't done it already. Go to facebook.com. Just open it up right now on your phone, however you're listening. Look for Start with Kimberly Brock. That's my handle on Instagram and Facebook. But then there you'll see the link to join the group. I want you to get in on the group so I can communicate with you. This is a one-way conversation here. And I want to know what's going on with you and your business dreams. Okay, thanks guys. Now, this episode may be over, but our relationship does not have to end here. Head on over to KimberlyBrock.com, and yes, you can get more valuable information for your journey. And you know what? You don't need to go through this alone. I would love to help you. Thank you so much, and have a great day. Bye.